Well, it's creepypasta time again. So why don't you sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hey, have you ever tried to quit smoking? Don't mind how I'm dressed. It's a new company dress code. No, I'm not here to sell you anything. Just listen to my story and make your own decision. It had to be about a year ago this fall when I decided to quit. It was because of the usual reason anyone quits. My wife Audrey and I were hard up for cash, given we were both unemployed at the time and she was pregnant. We both decided to make some sacrifices, to save money in preparation for the arrival of the new baby. She sold off some of her stuff to a local pawn shop and started looking for a stay-at-home job. I really cracked down on finding myself a real full-time job, and obviously decided to give up smoking as well. I tried a few times before this with various methods. Cold turkey was first, then Nicorette gum, and of course the patch. And to tell you the truth, they are full of it. I even tried that dumb fucking e-cigarette. Piece of shit. Newsflash. Save your money. Anyway. Where was I? Alright. So this time I figured I would see my doctor about it, and he would prescribe me some pills or something. I know, you don't have to say it. You were unemployed and you wanted to go to a doctor about this. How the fuck were you going to pay the bill or buy the prescription, dipshit? We had enough left around to cut for this, with the idea that it would save us money in the long run. Don't worry. I got lucky. I called up the doctor's office and set up an appointment for 11:15 the next morning. I was going in to quit smoking in the first place, so I held off on having any before I left. I hopped into my POS 1992 Ford Tempo and off I went. I strolled into the office sometime around 11. There was no line for the front desk, and no people in the waiting room. Bonus. I wasn't in the particular mood to sit and listen to some asswipe complain about his life in the ever popular "no matter how loud I talk, you can't hear me when I'm on my cell phone" volume. Or watch some teen mum with a lack of parenting skills let her kid rip apart the magazine rack today anyway. I stood at the front desk for a solid 10 minutes. As it turns out, the receptionist was the asswipe with the phone. I stared at her and she held up the "give me a minute, I'm on the phone here" finger. She giggles at a conversation and continues talking. I bit my tongue and tapped my finger on the desk. After a while, the receptionist decided that I was worthy of her attention. "Can I help you?" she asked, in a really bitchy tone that made me want to grab her by the neck and squeeze until her head popped. Yeah, as a matter of fact. I have an appointment to see Dr. Matson for 11:15. Name? Mark Skransky. Mr. Skransky, let's see here. Ah, there it is. For 11:15 you say? Yes, that's the one. Well, there seems to be a few issues here. Go figure. What could they be? Well, number one, you're late for your appointment. Bull! I got here 15 minutes early to fill out paperwork. You were on your damn phone. Sir, don't start with an attitude or I'll have you escorted off the property. I have no proof of when you arrived. You should have signed in on the sheet. You saw me standing here. Never mind, I'll just sign in. Now, can I see the doc? Well, that would be another issue. Since you were late, you missed your appointment, and Dr. Matson is booked tight for the rest of the day. Really? You're shitting me. Sir, I warned you, and I will not do the same again. Insurance? Ha! I wish. Ha is right. Just sign in and find a seat. I'll see what I can do. I grabbed the pen and scratched my name into the sign-in sheet. Under time, I wrote 11 AM, as large as I could. I also happened to notice that no one else had signed in that day. But my ass, I muttered under my breath. Believe it or not, the dumb cunt went right back to yakking on the phone. This is fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic! I muttered a little louder. She glared at me for a second, and then turned back to her oh-so-important phone conversation. I smirked a little and sat there, with my proverbial thumb up my ass. I checked my watch, and figured a magazine might help me pass the time. The magazine was full of your typical doctor's office reading material. Parenting magazine, men's health, along with assorted other crap. I picked up a motor trend and flipped through the pages. Nothing was really worth spending any time reading, so I put it back. The weight was almost unbearable. Dull office white walls, the television droning in a repetitive loop of health news, racks of pamphlets trying to convince me to ask for certain prescriptions. If your hair grows faster than you can keep up with, ask your doctor about bullshitafin. I was counting the dots on the ceiling tiles, wondering if I should just reschedule for another day, when I heard, "Mark Strumsky." "Skransky," I replied, as I checked my watch and looked up to see a tall, slender figure man standing in the doorway. He was almost a sickly kind of skinny. Although he didn't look old, I couldn't really put my finger on his age. He had short grey hair sticking out from a reddish-orange hairpiece. His eyes were slightly sunken. His skin was pale, almost white. He wore a pair of burnt orange slacks with tan dots and a long, white lab coat. My jaw dropped at the sight of this odd-looking man. "Dr. Matson?" I asked. "No. Unfortunately, the good Dr. Matson has just left the office due to very sudden illness," he replied in a somewhat hoarse, raspy voice. "Ironic," I thought in my head. "The receptionist said he was booked for the day. Are you taking his patients?" "Only some of them. I've just transferred to this office from Newport. Our Ryan Dr. Matson has graciously offered for me to take on some of his patients, until I've established myself within this office. Patient allowing, of course." "Alright, I guess." I was a bit hesitant, but my impatient side got the better of me. "Right, this way then, Mr. Skarfsky." "It's Skransky," I replied. I heard the receptionist holler something as the door shut, but figured it was part of her phone conversation or maybe someone else interrupting it. I followed him into a small examination room. It had the normal examination table, and a few posters of various body parts with medical terms and arrows pointing out the different parts that made up whatever the poster was supposed to be of. "Ah, it says here it's been a while since your last checkup." "Yeah, lack of funding, if you catch my drift. That's not really what I came here for, though." "Well, unfortunately I can't help you until you've had a physical." Well, you see, that's kind of a problem. I don't really have insurance to cover this visit, and I'm on a tight budget." "I see. Well, maybe we can make some sort of payment arrangement afterwards, I guess. Just try to keep it cheap, Doc, alright?" At the same time, I thought to myself, my wife is going to fucking kill me when she sees this bill. But it's for my own good. "Oh, I am sorry. You can call me Dr. Winston." "Alright, Doc Winston, let's get this over with." He continued with a quick examination. He checked blood pressure, weight, turned my head and cough, so on and so forth. Last he checked my breathing. He held the cold stethoscope to my chest and asked me to breathe deeply. "Are you a smoker, Mr. Strumsky?" "Listen, it's Skransky. You know what? Just call me Mark." "Yes, and that's why I'm here actually." "Oh, is it? What seems to be the issue?" I explained to him the situation, and his blue-grey eyes looked right through me as I spoke, as if reading into my soul. It was rather unsettling, but I put it off for the time being. "Well, you are in luck," he said, as he stretched a tight-lipped grin across his white, fragile, paper-like features. "I just so happen to have here the chance of a lifetime. There is a newly developed medication for just such an individual as yourself." "Come on, Doc. Really? Brand new? That means it's going to cost me, what? Both arms and a leg? What are we talking here?" No, you misunderstood. This medication has just entered the testing phase before it is released to the general public. They are currently willing to pay volunteers a sum of $1,500 to test it and report back on the results. Don't worry. It's been cleared for human testing." "Really? They will pay me to take their pills just to see if they work or not?" "Oh, not only that, but since you are my first patient and I've been closely involved with the development of this medication, I am willing to waive your bill for today's visit, if you agree to involve yourself with this trial." It seemed like a win-win. I would get my appointment for free, along with the prescription I came for, and to top it all off, I'm getting paid. I was in. "Alright, sounds good. What are the terms of payment and what do I need to do?" "Well, it is a 15-day trial. Each day we will meet and you will describe to me what the prescription is doing to you. I will pay you $100 per report. There are 2 types of pills. This box," he held up a red and orange box, "is what you will take 3 times daily. First thing in the morning, exactly halfway through your day, and just before sleep." He held up a second box. It was black and grey. "In this box is what you shall take any time you have the urge to smoke. You shall continue to smoke through the trial, and especially if you take a pill from the black and grey box. In fact, I will provide you with the cigarettes as well throughout the trial. He handed me a coupon booklet that had to cover at least 3 cartons worth of cigarettes. If I keep smoking, how will this work? Believe me, on the 15th day of the trial, you will no longer want to smoke. Really? Could this get any better? The only stipulation is, you absolutely must complete the trial. Yeah, I know. If I don't finish it, you won't pay me, I get it. I turned to walk out. The receptionist met me at the door to the waiting room. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Excuse me? You can't just go bursting into the examination area of the office. You're lucky I don't call the authorities. Listen, lady, you must have had that phone further in your ear than I thought. The doc called me in. He gave me a free exam, a prescription, and some coupons, and now I'm leaving. I'm calling the police. The doctor has been on his lunch break and will not see patients until 12:45. Oh, whatever, lady. I'm sick of this shit. I'm out of here. And with that, I left. That was more than enough drama for one day. So I jumped in the Tempo with my loot, fired it up, and went to pull out of the parking lot. I noticed the clock in the car read 12:07. No way the visit was that short. I didn't go into the exam room until 12:05. Even the clock doesn't work in this piece of shit car. My watch read the same. Eh? I must have read it wrong earlier. I made a pit stop on the way home and picked up a couple of packs of Marlboro Reds. I figured if the smokes are free, I might as well get decent ones. Screw this USA Gold Pall Mall shit. I walked in the house, put my dog Goose on a leash, and walked out back to have my first smoke of the day. Before I lit up, I popped one of the grey and black pills, then enjoyed my smoky goodness. Audrey saw me out back and decided to see what was going on. Hey honey, I wasn't expecting you home so soon. Did you make your appointment? Yeah, I got in. New doctor is a hair on the odd side, and the receptionist was batshit crazy, but I got it done. Then why are you smoking? I thought you went there to get something to help you with that. Yeah, I did, but don't worry about it. He gave me these, and I tossed her the boxes of pills. Great. How much did this run us? Including the full checkup, or just for the pills? You had to get a checkup too? Jesus Christ! I don't want to know. No, go ahead. Guess. It's not as bad as you think. I'm going to say 500. Way off. Try again. Come on. I don't want to play this game right now. Just tell me. Alright, fine. The appointment was free, and the doc is going to pay me $1,500 to go on these pills for 15 days. All I have to do is meet up with him once a day and tell him how it's going, and he'll give me $100 a day. Plus, he gave me coupons for free smokes while I'm on this trial. He told me to keep smoking like I normally do, just take the pills. Red and orange, 3 times a day, and the black and grey every time I want a cigarette. Well, that is kind of odd, but if we're getting paid for it, I guess it's worth a try. She turned the boxes over in her hand and started making a remark about the pills, but her words started to sound distant. My ears began to rush and my head was swimming. The world blurred in and out of focus, and then nothing. I woke up with my wife standing over me, phone in hand with 911 on the other end. Oh wait, he's waking up now, thank God. I'm not sure, hold on, 1 second. Honey, are you okay? You passed out for a minute. Yeah, I'm fine. My head hurts, but I think I'm good. Good. They're sending an ambulance now. No. Oh no. No ambulance. I'm fine. It was just a head rush. Do you know how much an ambulance ride costs? Tell them to call it off. No. Give me the phone. I'll do it. Hello? 911? A woman's voice responded. Sir, can you tell me what happened? Don't worry. Call back your ambulance. I just had a bad head rush. Sir, I need to confirm your condition before I can do that. No big deal. I just passed out. I'm fine. The voice on the phone changed slightly. It deepened and gained a hoarse quality. You took them, didn't you? The pills. Ashes. And then static. Sir? Sir, are you still there? Said the operator, who was now returning to normal. What did you just say? Sir, are you on a cellular phone? Our connection seems to be bad. No. What did you say about the pills and ashes? Sir, I did not say anything about pills or ashes. Did you take something that caused you to pass out? No, it must have been the static. I misheard you. Alright, sir. I will recall the ambulance and alert them it was a false alarm, but if this happens again, I would advise you to seek medical attention. I'll do that, I said, and hung up on the phone. I wiped some drool from my mouth onto my sleeve and noticed it was black. I neglected to mention it to my wife. She'd had enough stress for one day, and I think I did as well. The rest of our day was rather uneventful. As I was getting ready for bed, thoughts of the voice on the phone and the strange doctor raced through my head. Just a strange day, I thought to myself. I picked up the boxes of pills and looked at them. There were no labels on the boxes. In fact, no words at all, just a cardboard box that was red on one half and orange on the other. It was the same with the black and grey box. I pulled one of the blister packs of pills out of the red and orange box, popped one of the pills out of the foil backing and rolled it around in my hand. It didn't look like any other pill I'd seen before. Not that I usually spend very much time studying pills in the past. The pill was a clear casing with a red liquid inside. Another orange liquid swirled around inside the pill, but didn't mix in. Kinda like oil and water. The entire pill emitted a faint glow. It's $1,500, I thought to myself, and swallowed the pill. The next morning I woke in a cold sweat. The black liquid was at the corners of my mouth again. I've never been one to remember my dreams, but there was a definite feeling of dread. My wife stayed in bed and I went through my normal morning routine, with the addition of taking my new pill. I brushed my teeth, set up coffee, and went out back for my morning smoke and let Goose out. I pulled out the black and grey pills again. I had taken a few the day before, but hadn't really stopped to look at them. After looking at the other ones last night, I decided to take a better look at these as well. They were similar to the red and orange ones, except these ones were grey with black swirls. Rather than emitting light, these seemed completely devoid of any. It was almost as if they sucked the light in from around them, or they emitted darkness whichever way you want to look at it. I noticed the dog had stopped walking, and was staring at me with his hackles raised. Goose? What's your problem? Of course he didn't respond. He just remained tense. Probably a squirrel or a chipmunk behind me or something. I went to pop the pill in my mouth, and Goose let out a loud bark, which startled me into dropping the pill on the ground. Goose, being the curious dog that he is, ran up to it and gave it a sniff. He let out a loud, painful yelp and took off across the lawn. Really, Goose? You're such a pussy. He was hiding in his doghouse. I just shook my head, picked up the pill, swallowed it, and had my smoke. It seemed each time I took them, the head rush that accompanied them got less and less. I chalked it up to side effects. The black liquid had to be from the pills as well. I finally convinced a reluctant Goose out of his doghouse and went back into the house. The rest of the morning went on as usual. Audrey rolled out of bed around 10:30. We browsed various websites for jobs, flipped through the classifieds and watched some TV. Just then, the doorbell rang. When I checked the clock, it was 12:05. I wasn't expecting anyone, so I went to the door prepared to tell some salesman or a Jehovah's Witness to go eat a dick. I peeked through the blinds, and lo and behold, it was Dr. Winston. What the fuck is he doing here? I opened the door. Hey Doc, can I help you? Mark! If I'm correct, I came for our daily meeting and for your report. Oh, that's right. I'd almost forgotten about that. I didn't expect you to show up at my house. Did we schedule a meeting? I said a meeting once a day, correct? Yeah, I guess you did. But I kind of figured you would want to do it at a more convenient time, at your office. It has been 24 hours, has it not? What time would be more convenient for an unemployed gentleman such as yourself? Fair enough, Doc. So a report. I didn't type anything up. Can I just tell you about it? That would be all that is required. Well, I suppose just some minor side effects, especially from the grey and black pills. They gave me one hell of a head rush at first, but they're not as bad after each time I take them. Also, I notice some black liquid from my mouth every now and then. Normal. All normal. Everything seems perfectly in order here then. Continue your resume and I will meet you again tomorrow. He handed me $100 bill, turned, and left. Who is it? Audrey said from behind me. It was the doc just stopping by for our meeting. Where? I kinda wanted to see this weirdo. He just left. Here, throw this in your purse. I handed her the $100 bill. Honey, you didn't talk to anyone. You opened the door, stood there for a second, and then I walked up. I didn't feel like arguing. You really shouldn't argue with a pregnant woman. I went to take my midday pill and left it at that. That evening, Audrey and I were watching the news, and there was a report that caught my attention. In other news, an unidentifiable body was found in a doctor's office at 15 South Main Street in Marlborough. Police suspect the individual died sometime around noon yesterday and was placed in the office shortly afterward. An investigation has begun, and limited details have been released to the public. The cause of death appears to be severe burns. The individual's burns reduced the body to ash. If anyone has any information pertaining to this investigation, please contact your local authorities. Mac, you were there when that happened. No way. They must have gotten a bum scoop. Their times are wrong or something. The only people at the office were me, the bitch behind the front desk, and Dr. Winston. You don't think... No. The dude was strange, but not murderer strange. Well, where was Dr. Matson during all of this? I guess he was sick and took a half day. Dr. Winston was covering for him. Then again, the receptionist did say he was on a lunch break. I never saw him. Sounds a little suspicious to me. Maybe I should call it in. Eh? I don't really want to get involved. There might be a reward, she replied as she picked up the phone. After she made the call, it wasn't 10 minutes before the cops were at our door and dragging me down to the station as a possible homicide suspect. I explained it all to them, and they corroborated the story with the receptionist. Eventually, they let me go, although they never were able to contact Dr. Winston or Dr. Matson. The next few days went along as smoothly as could be expected. Audrey noticed that I was actually smoking more, and I did bring it up on one of the meetings. Dr. Winston showed up at exactly 12:05 every day. All I was able to get out of the doc was, "That's perfectly normal. Just continue with the trial and report to me every day." I started feeling angry a lot, and I was developing a strange grey spot on my finger with a red ring around the outside of it. The spot grew by the day and was accompanied by a burning sensation. The doctor said, "Good, that means it's working." I was starting to remember parts of my dreams as well. They were getting worse and worse. Every morning I woke up feeling deeply disturbed. The black liquid was always seeping from my mouth. It tasted burnt and ashy. It had to be day 7 of the ordeal that Audrey asked me to stop the trial. I refused, of course. I was actually craving the pills more than the cigarettes, and I was only smoking as an excuse to take them. "If you don't stop taking these pills, I'm going to leave. I don't like what they're doing to you." "Babe, don't do this to me. We need the money." "But look at you. You look like hell. All you do is holler at everyone. I can't stand to be near you. This needs to stop." "We need the money. Don't you blame this shit on me." "No, I'm not. Just stop yelling. I'm just asking you to duck out of the program, that's all. We'll be fine. I need you to do this for me." I may have been angry, but I did still have a little bit of judgment. "Fine. I will talk to the doctor tomorrow. Maybe I can convince him that this shit is not fucking working." That night, I vividly remember my dream. I was standing in the darkness. The black was so thick, I could feel it pressing down on me. If I had had a flashlight, I doubt it would have lit up 4 feet in front of me. I reached into my pocket and pulled out 2 pills, one glowing red and orange, and one black and grey that was drawing the light from the other pill and pushing it out the other side in a thick smoke. I downed the pills, and a cigarette appeared in front of me. Just above the filter, the word Matson was printed in small red letters. A flame appeared on the tip of my finger, and I lit my smoke. As I took a drag, the flame rose higher into the air and grew larger. I took a second puff, and the distinct scent of burning flesh washed over me. The flame came to a stop, and the light started to shine over me. I noticed the ground was a thick black liquid. I continued to smoke my cigarette and noticed it had changed. What I now held in my hand was a human finger. Ash covered the fingertip, and I was smoking it from the severed end. I wiped the black liquid from my mouth and spit it on the ground. I finished smoking the finger calmly and woke up. "What the fuck just happened?" I yelled, breathing heavily in the black liquid covering my chin. "What? What's the matter?" "I am going to beat the shit out of this prick. I'll fucking shoot him." "Who? Calm down, you're not shooting anyone." "The doctor. He's fucking killing me. That's it. I'm getting off this shit today." I got out of bed and started my morning routine as best as I could, shaken by the dream. I took Goose out, but he only ran and hid in his doghouse, occasionally peering out at me to growl at me. Stupid fucking dog. I was now wishing I could take a pill and have a cigarette, but I fought the urge. By 9:30 I was shaking from the need. Shortly after the police showed up to take me for a ride. I angrily agreed and allowed them to bring me to the station. "I didn't do shit." "We know that, Mr. Skransky. Then why am I here?" "Sir, we have yet to find this Dr. Winston. Has he tried to contact you?" "Actually, I meet with him once a day just after noon." "Really?" "Mr. Skransky, why was this not brought to our attention beforehand?" "I just figured you'd gotten a hold of him." "Gotten a hold of him? We haven't found a record of his transfer to this state or any proof of his existence at all. We can't find any birth records, social security number, work history, nothing. Never mind actually speak with the man. Well, I don't know what to tell you. We believe you can help find out who this man really is. Now how in the hell am I going to do that? You said you meet with him once a day. Perhaps you'll be willing to wear a wire? Fuck it. Why not? They set me up with a small digital recorder and a mic. They briefed me and explained some more details of the case. Apparently they were under the impression that the body belonged to Dr. Matson, and the only reason they thought the body was moved was although it was nothing but a pile of ashes, nothing else in the room had any burn marks on it. How it was moved was completely unknown. Eventually, they sent me on my way. I decided to walk home to try to blow off some steam, and as I walked, I had a distinct feeling of being followed. I didn't look back. Next thing I knew, the world went fuzzy again, and the concrete came up to meet my face. I awoke to a foot on my back, attached to a pair of burnt orange slacks with tan spots. I noticed my watch as well. 12:05. Ah, what the fuck? Oh, Mark, may I ask what it is you are doing? Just walking home. I stumbled to my feet and switched on the recorder, while brushing myself off and hoping he hadn't noticed. The laugh was sinister and made my skin crawl. You can record anything I say. It will not help you. Listen, Doc, I'm done. I want nothing to do with this. Oh no, Mark. I told you. You must finish the trial. Do you need one more incentive? What if I was to add a 0 to the end of our agreed upon payment? No go there, Doc. This shit is killing me. My wife is threatening to leave me. My whole arm is grey now. I am always drooling this black shit. I don't give a damn what you say. It is not normal. Oh, Mark. What if I were to tell you that if you do not continue the trial, your wife will pay the price rather than yourself? The price? You never said anything about a price if I stopped the trial. You walked out before I could finish. A smile crossed his lips. Give me your grey arm. Out of fear and concern for my wife, I complied. Oh, this is coming along nicely, he said as he examined my arm. He raised it and let it drop and stopped the motion as it became parallel to the ground. My arm simply fell off, as if he ashed a giant cigarette. There was no pain, and the burning sensation was still there. My jaw dropped, and I tried to scoop the remains of my limb up. No. How? What the hell did you do? His laugh echoed in my ears. I can put it back, if you simply do as you are told. You couldn't do this to Audrey. You can keep my arm. Oh, I couldn't? Do you perhaps remember a Dr. Matson? Bastard! The cops know it was you. Who the fuck are you? Sorry, Mark. That I cannot tell you. Are you going to cooperate or not? His eyes told me he wasn't lying. He would do it in a heartbeat. I respectfully agreed. Well, take your medication and have a cigarette. Like a good boy. I left them at home. He reached in his pocket and pulled out a pill and a cigarette and watched as I smoked. With each drag, I watched my arm reform from the ashes, but retain its ashen colour. I could feel the burn travelling to my chest and side. When I looked up from my arm, the doc was gone. Now what the hell do I do? There was nothing I could do. I arrived home and Audrey met me at the door. I explained to her what had happened, the police station, the recorder, and my encounter with the doc on my walk home. I really think you're losing it, Mark. Those pills are driving you crazy. No, I have it all here. I held up the recorder. I guess I would have to hear it to believe this story. I pressed play on the recorder and the recording started. Test, said one of the officers that had briefed me. Good. Works. I turned to my wife. See? I'm not making this up. We turned our attention back to the recording. Ah, what the fuck? And then static. Then a low tone rose from the tiny speaker. The frequency steadily rose higher and higher. I jammed the stop button, but the tone continued to grow higher and louder until I dropped it to the floor on my knees and covered my ears. Then the recorder suddenly stopped. I looked up and Audrey was staring at me. What are you doing? You didn't hear that? He must be able to mask his voice or some shit. I can't do this. You were going to take those pills until they fucking kill you because some figment of your imagination threatened to kill me. I need some time. I can't deal with this anymore. I'm leaving. Call me when you're back to normal. Really? Don't do this to me. I I can't stay. I told you. Off those pills or I leave. Fine. Leave me. If I stop the pills, he'll fucking kill you. Go check yourself into a mental health clinic. You need help? Go fuck yourself, stupid bitch. Go, get the fuck out. She packed her bags right then and there. We didn't say a word to each other. At least her and the baby will be fine, I thought to myself. The next morning, she called and asked if I had taken the money out of her purse, and why I had used her purse as an ashtray. I told her I didn't know what she was talking about, even though I was fully aware and knew she wouldn't believe me anyway. She returned later that day to pick up the dog, and some more of her belongings to the house in shambles, and that was the last time I saw of her. For the days afterward, I followed the regimen of pills. My dreams became more vivid and disturbing, but I was getting used to them. I didn't sleep much anyway. The grey was now covering most of my body along with the burning sensation that accompanied it. The burning was now not only on the surface of my skin, but began to leach inward. I didn't bother to wipe the black liquid from my face anymore, seeing how it was now a constant stream now. The anger that had started out like a nicotine fit had grown significantly. I couldn't smoke enough. I couldn't take enough pills to satisfy this urge. I needed something more. As I felt the anger swell within me, I began to vent on my surroundings. I tried to watch some TV and take my mind off of everything that was happening. The news came on with an update of the investigation involving Dr. Winston, Dr. Matson, and myself. I couldn't stand listening to it. I ripped the plug out of the wall and sat in silence. That was worse, so I turned on the radio, which began to play the same news story. Fuck this! I ripped the receiver off of the entertainment centre shelf, and I could hear the sizzle of electricity from where the wires had pulled out of the back of the receiver. The entire house went dark, so I threw it into the TV screen. Dr. Winston still showed up every day. He no longer bothered with the doorbell. At this point I lacked the ability for an intelligible conversation, so the doc would just watch and smile. I hated him, and wanted him dead. For some reason, each time I approached him to make an attempt on his life, he was able to stop me in my tracks. I redirected my anger at whatever was nearby. He would stop me, and I would smash the windows, or kick holes in the walls. I ripped cabinets from the kitchen walls and threw them out of the sliding glass door. Why can't I fucking kill you? The doc only smiled at me. Fuck your report. Mark, you have shown me all I need to see. I then tore the silverware drawer out of the counter and grabbed a fistful of knives. The doc just shook his head at me, and I could do nothing. I threw the knives at the wall, and a few of them stuck. What do you want from me? What the fuck do you want? You will learn soon enough. On day 14, they came. The police, that is. I had never gone back to the station after they had set me up with the recorder. I imagine the state of the house tipped them off that something wasn't right. There were two of them, the same two that had spoken with me. Mr. Skransky? Are you home? Are you alright? Leave now! Sir, we just want to talk. Just come out and speak with us. They continued to walk into the house. They stepped out of the hallway into the kitchen. Are you sure you want me to come out? Yes, Mr. Skransky. Just come out. I gave them what they wanted. They were not expecting to see me in the state I was in. I could see the fear in their eyes when I rushed them. They made an attempt to draw their pistols, but my baseball bat slowed down the first officer's reaction time when it came into contact with the side of his head, and the other decided that that would be a good time to leave. He made it to the broken sliding door when my knife entered his kidney, dropping him quickly to the floor. As he screamed in pain and bled out, I returned to the first officer, who was still unconscious, and dispatched him with a single stab into his chest. After pocketing one of the pistols, I dragged the bodies to the forest behind the house and placed them on a large pile of dry leaves, covered them in gasoline, and lit them. I then proceeded to take 2 black and grey pills and stand over the burning bodies to inhale the smoke. I stood there until both bodies were reduced to ash. The burning grey then surged and completed, covering my entire body. I could feel it inside and out. I sat in the forest for another 2 days, popping pills and eating the ashes from the remains. When there was nothing left, I returned home in the early morning before the sun rose to a swarm of police cars. Most of the officers were inside, and the property was surrounded in crime scene tape. They must have shown up not long after I left. I do not believe they expected anyone to return to the scene, and it was relatively easy to walk up to the rear of the house, following the shadows of the brush line that ran across the yard. From a distance, I could see into the windows. The flashlights of the officers, and what I can only assume to be detectives, shone brightly in almost every room. I watched them tag various parts of the house, and snap pictures as they worked. I edged the house, and ducked under the windows toward the 200-pound propane tanks that ran the stove, fridge, water heater, and dryer. I picked up a piece of glass from one of the windows nearby, and severed the rubber gas line. I then lit a cigarette, and placed it on the ground in the dry leaves next to the tank. As I backed away, I watched the leaves smoulder. Eventually the leaves ignited. I raised a pistol, and waited. When I saw the propane ignite, I took my shot. It punctured the tank on the left-hand side, and the resulting explosion was enormous. I felt the shockwave knock me to the ground. As I regained my feet, I saw the destruction. The entire wall of the house was blown, and the other walls were significantly damaged. Pieces of building lumber were strewn all around me. Among some of the nearby wreckage lay one of the officers, with a large piece of shrapnel lodged in his forehead. I grabbed one of his arms, and pulled him out from under the flaming chunk of wall. As I tugged him free, I could feel his shoulder pop from his socket, and some of the tendons tear. Behind me, all I could hear was screams and shouting. It made me smile. Gunfire came next. If they hit me, I didn't notice. I fired the remainder of the magazine from my pistol in the general direction the other shots had come from, but I was far too distracted with my new loot to notice if anyone was hit or not. I dragged the body back toward the forest. No one followed. I assumed there were too many in need of immediate medical attention to send anyone in after me. Perhaps they were calling additional backup to stage a manhunt. Either way, I was in the clear for the time being. I made my way deep into the forest, dragging the officer behind me. I walked for hours, deeper and deeper into a dense section of evergreens, thick enough to block out the sun. At one point, I saw the doc out of the corner of my eye. His smile had never been bigger. When I finally stopped, I began to gather small twigs, dry leaves, and pine needles into a pile, place my victim upon his newly erected funeral pyre. Most of the man's clothing and skin had been torn away. A body being dragged through a forest has a nasty habit of catching on fallen branches and the like. His scalp was reduced to patches of blood, matted hair stuck to his exposed skull. Even that had large cracks and dents from the occasional rock or log. I proceeded to down the rest of the pills in the box and lit the officer ablaze. The dizziness then returned in force, and the world faded out of focus. A moment of clarity came to me, an understanding of what I had just done. Then I hit the ground. I don't know how long I was out, but when I finally awoke, he was standing over me with a bag in one hand and a smile on his face. He put his hand out to help me up. As soon as I made contact with him, the rage left me. I could feel the burning subside. I looked around and saw 4 more bodies lying nearby. They were nothing but ashed, but retained their basic shape to an extent. You have done well? The doc seemed very pleased with me now, but I could say nothing. You are aware that you cannot return now. They will hunt you down. I simply nodded. He dropped the bag at my feet. I could see through the opening what looked to be a white lab coat and something burnt orange and tan. He held out his hand again. In it was a pack of assorted cigarettes and a new kind of pill. This one was red and black and swirled furiously. Take the pill and choose. I quickly took the pill and felt a surge of energy through my body. I watched my skin flake off like the ash of a cigarette, exposing the stark white skin underneath. I understood now. Like I said, I'm not trying to sell you anything. Oh, my apologies. I don't believe I ever introduced myself either. You may call me Dr. Dorrell, and I am offering you the chance of a lifetime. Hello guys, the Deathless Lord Cerberus here. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch my video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the subscribe button, like, and share with your friends.